Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV News Circle here in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Fauziya Lukman. President Bola Tinubu said his administration will continue to implement more palliative measures to ease the cascading hardship occasioned by the discontinuance of petrol subsidy and the unification of the exchange rate, among other economic reforms. He also promised to place Nigeria on the path of irreversible progress shortly, adding that his administration will continue to implement palliative measures to ease the burden on the most vulnerable, address current hardship, and alleviate the suffering of the nation's people. The president acknowledged that the past 6 months of his administration has been a time of transformation and relentless change in the country. Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka has disclosed that President Bola Tinubu ignored his advice not to run for the nation #1 seat. Speaking after his visit to the president in Lagos, where he is spending his vacation, Soyinka said he had offered the same counsel to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar in 2019. Uyi Agumufugwi completes the report.
My first visit? Well, actually, it's an embarrassing visit. Because when I visited him the last time, it was to try and persuade him not to run for office. I think I've written about that. I told Atiku and himself that they should please leave the grounds for young people. That's the last time we met, about 5 years ago. And I call him secretly Olori Kunkun, a stubborn man. So he ignored my advice completely. So I came to see how he was doing after neglecting my advice. Wanted to see if both he and his wife were weathering Nigeria as well as can be expected, and to wish them a happy Christmas.
Professor Soyinka also stated that his personal principle places a demand on him to wait for 1 year before making public his assessment of any government, a practice he stated that he has maintained over time.
Well, you know, something you may have noticed about me, that most heads of state, when they take office, I always leave them alone for about the first year. I don't know if you've seen that, if you've noticed that. Because they need, I know when they come in, they don't start from ground zero. They often start even lower than ground zero, and they have to make up. So I have this personal policy, whether it's Obasanjo or Buhari or Jonathan. You'll notice that during the first year, I hardly ever say anything. And then people ask me, why are you not talking? I say, go and ask the last person whether I spoke during the first year. So I'm adopting the same principle this year.
Uyi Agumufugwi reporting for Global TV News.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and the National Orientation Agency have commended the efforts of the Economic and Financial Crime Commissions in combating corruption and economic and financial crimes in the country. The Akwa Ibom State Director of the NOA, Mokpotum, gave the commendation during a recent courtesy visit to the state capital, Uyo Zonal Command on FCC. Speaking during the visit, the NOA Director said there was a need for collaboration between the EFCC and the NOA towards improving the country's image and ensuring that Nigerians are proud to identify with their country as citizens. He also noted that also crime is small, noting that every degree of crime does damage the reputation of the country. Responding to the Uyo Zonal Commander of the EFCC, Assistant Commander of the EFCC, Aiswan Bawa Hamidu, thanked the NOA team for the visit, which he said was both crucial and timely, especially at a time when public education is necessary in achieving the prevention mandate of the Commission. As Christians join the rest of the world to celebrate Christmas, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has called on Nigerians to remain steadfast and hopeful despite the hard times they are experiencing. According to Akpabio, Christmas calls for the reflection of the teachings of Jesus Christ, which were anchored in love for neighbor, peaceful coexistence, and loyalty to constitutional authorities. Akpabio, who advised Nigerians not to give on their leaders, particularly the current government of President Bola Tinubu, said he is confident that with prayers and support, the current administration would wipe away tears in no distant times. On his part, the leader of the Senate, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, celebrated Christians with his constituency in Ekiti Central, distributing 3,000 bags of rice to them across the state. Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, has extended his Christmas greetings to all the residents of the Federal Capital Territory for the 2023 Christmas. The minister said the birth of Jesus Christ is a reminder and a call for love, compassion, and a renewal of the enduring gift of life. He then called on residents to be kind to others, share generously with those in need, and strive to be better humans. Wike reminded residents that the Federal Capital Territory, which is a microcosm of Nigeria's rich diversity, stands as a testament of the strength that comes from unity. He urged residents to let the spirit of the season serve as an inspiration to bring gaps, foster understanding, and build in communities where residents feel valued and included. The chairman of the Abuja Municipal Area Council, Christopher Zakka Mai-Kalangu, has urged residents of the council to spread the gospel of love, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence as they join the Christians to celebrate. In his Christmas message to mark the 2023 Christmas celebration, Mai-Kalangu congratulated residents, particularly the Christians, on the spiritual occasion and remarked that the celebration calls for sober reflection as well as emulating the exemplary life of Jesus Christ. He further charged the entire residents of the council to rededicate themselves to the service of God and humanity to make Nigeria a better place during the festive period. The AMAC chairman promised to continue to discharge his statutory responsibilities to all residents of the council, especially in the protection of lives and property. Similarly, Chairman of Kwali Area Council of the FCT Abuja, Ella Chia, has facilitated with Christians across Kwali Area Council as they celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. The Kwali chairman stated this in a statement issued by his Chief Press Secretary, Babangida Sariki. He called on Christians, particularly residents of the Kwali, to show love to one another. The chairman, who is also FCT Algon chairman, said Christians should scale down and be moderate in celebrating the Christmas, especially with the present economic meltdown. The latter appealed to wealthy individuals in the society to use the opportunity of the Yuletide season and put a smile on faces of the less privileged by assisting them, affirming that there is a silver lining in the sky. No fewer than 16 persons were killed in Musha village of Bokos local government area of Plateau State. Spokesperson of the Operation Safe Haven, a multi-security task force maintaining peace in the state, Captain Oya James, confirmed the incident. According to him, the attack took place on Saturday night while residents of the attack community were asleep, adding that following the attack, security personnel were deployed to prevent any breakdown of law and order in the area. There was an uprising after the incident, but the situation has been brought under control. Meanwhile, Governor Caleb Manes Samofwang has condemned the attack on the community, describing the attack as barbaric, brutal, and uncalled for. In a statement by Governor's Director of Press and Public Affairs, Gyang Berry, says the governor directed security agencies to promptly apprehend the perpetrators responsible for the heinous act and ensure they face the full wrath of the law. Barra said the governor expressed deep concern over the incident, urging communities across the state to remain vigilant, reporting any suspicious activities to security forces for immediate actions, questioning the immunity of the attack who inflicted harm on communities, destroying properties and evading justice. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has urged Nigerians to exercise patience with the economic policy initiated by President Bola Tinubu, expressing optimism that positive changes are on the horizon. Speaking in Lagos on Sunday after paying a Christmas visit to the president, Governor Oti noted that the present administration inherited a challenging economic landscape. Uyi Agwamufugwi have the rest of the story.
He came in at a very difficult time when inflation was close to 30%. The debt, national debt, almost $40 billion, and then unemployment close to 33.3%. Then The management of the economy at that time was also a big challenge, with almost 24 trillion naira printed, what is described as ways and means. So anyone that understands how the economy works will agree that it's a very difficult challenge.
Governor Oti highlighted issues such as surging inflation, a substantial debt profile, and high unemployment rate that President Tinubu faced on taking office. He added that the president has been very courageous, unifying the exchange rates and removing fuel subsidy, which had become a scam and costing the nation a lot of money.
One thing is that he has been very courageous, unifying the exchange rate and then removing petroleum subsidy, which actually had become a scam and costing us a lot of money. So those policies are good, but then they come with their negative sides. They come with challenges for an economy where over 60% of the population are living below the poverty line. So it's not going to be easy immediately, but I believe that if we are patient and if we go through the policies without compromising, that over time things will turn around.
The Abia State Governor, however, stated that consistency in the manner in which government's policies are driven is key in turning the nation's tide around for the better. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global Television News.
Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun on Monday congratulated the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, on his 74th birthday. Abiodun celebrated the former Kano State Governor in a post on his X handle on Monday, where he wrote, "Today we gather to pay tribute and rejoice in an extraordinary accomplishment of our esteemed national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, on his 74th birthday," stating that during his time as the governor of Kano State, his impact on the people was profound, leaving an everlasting impression and establishing a legacy that continues to shape the state to this day. The Nigerian Governors Forum has countered claims that crisis is rocking its secretariat over alleged financial misconduct. This is just as it confirmed that the allegations of fraud raised by its Director of Media and Publicity Affairs, Abdul Razak Barkindo, are already being investigated by the police. The NGF, in a statement by its legal director, Chijuki Chukun, on Monday, described a letter attributed to Barkindo as inflammatory and misguided allegations. Barkindo addressed to the forum's chairman and Kwara State Governor, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, alleged that the NGF is running an agenda contrary to the improving of lives and livelihood of the populace at the subnational level. You're watching Global TV News Circle live from the nation's capital, Abuja. We are on StarTime channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When the News Circle returns, oil revenue crashes by 289.6 billion naira as output fails. The news continues shortly with details of this and more right after this short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Global Television, bringing you live broadcasts of the News Circle from the nation's capital, Abuja. Thank you for joining us. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Command in Cross River State says a total of 2.05 tons of hard drugs were seized from drug peddlers between January and December in the state. The State Commander Rachel Omboeli disclosed this in an interview in Calabar on Monday. Omboeli, who is also the commander of Narcotics CN, also disclosed that 223 suspects were also arrested in connection with the seizure made in the year under review. While noting that the suspects include 22 females and 201 males, the commandant listed the seized hard drugs as cannabis, cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and psychotropics. According to her, 1.64 tons of cannabis were seized, while cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and psychoactive substances account for 3.5 grams, 4.3 grams, 81.9 grams, and 410.24 kg, respectively. While not given specific figures, Umabuali says several of the suspects were charged in court. Moving on to the foreign scene, where at least a dozen schools in the province of Yala and Narathiwat that have been forced to close, while footage of the region shows homes and shops inundated with murky brown waters and residents taking refuge on upper floors. Flood caused by intense rainfall has affected tens of thousands of people in Thailand's deep south, officials says on Monday, with some roads and railway lines forced to close. The heavy rain have also caused problems at sea, with at least 7 boats sunk in the Gulf of the Thai and Adenad Sea since Friday. The Kingdom State Railway Company said track substances meant that trains heading south of the Malaysian border were stopping at Yala, 100 kilometers away. Authorities have warned residents in the province to be ready to evacuate if the flood were to get worse. Back to business now, where Nigeria lost about 289.6 billion naira crude oil revenue in November 2023 following a plunge in the country's oil output last month. When compared to what it pumped out to the preceding month of October, an analysis of the country's latest crude oil production figures obtained from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission in Abuja showed that Nigeria produced 41,867,775 million barrels of crude oil in October, but is plunged up to 35,508,971 barrels in November, representing a decline of 4,358,804 million barrels when matched against when the countries produced in October. The average price of Brent, the global benchmark for crude oil in November 2023, was $82.94 per barrel, according to the country's economy and international statistics firm. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria expressed concern over what they perceived as a breach of legal protocols and insisted on Sabiu's accountability for his role in the currency redesign. According to the association, the special investigator on the Central Bank of Nigeria related entities, Jim Obaze, revealed in his final report that the approval for the Naira design did not come from the former president, but rather from Buhari's aide, Shuaibu Tunde Yusuf. Huluwa demanded the immediate arrest and prosecution of Tunde Sabiu for his role in the scandal. In a related development, Huluwa expressed concerns over the actions of the immediate past Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, concerning the Nigerian Air Project. The Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Ship Management Limited has said that over 800 Nigerian seafarers are on board its international sea-going vessels. The managing director of NSML, Abdul Qadir Ahmad, said this in Lagos during the induction of 50 cadets sponsored by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, for the completion of their cadetship and award of certificate of competency. He added that the seafarers were trained to the best standard where they could compete with other seafarers in the world. Speaking on the event, he explained that the ceremony was an induction program on the NIMASA Romania cadet training and capacity development. Lastly, on sport, Napoli striker Victor Osimhen has signed a new deal that runs until 2026 with the Italian club. The 24-year-old scored 26 Serie A goals in 32 appearances in 2022 to 2023 as he helped Napoli win their first league title in 33 years after joining from the LOSC in September 2020 for a fee of 75 million euros with bonuses. With this new deal, his salary will significantly increase to 10 million euros each season after tax. But more importantly, it will include a 130 million euros release clause that is only applicable to terms outside of Italy. Osimhen, who managed 31 goals in all competitions last season, was crowned the Italian Footballers Association Player of the Year earlier this month. He has so far netted 7 goals in the Italian league this season, and he was also named as the African Footballer of the Year 2023. The Blue Sharks have found themselves on a similar trajectory to the last edition in Cameroon, where they had made it to this round of the 16 as one of the 4 belt-based teams. Cape Verde is the team that makes the offensive phase in its main strength. Jovan Cabral of Celestiniana is one of the best team main players, but the flair of Rayo Vallecano player Bebe and the speed of Gary Rodriguez should help the team when they face Egypt and Ghana in the games they are expected to lose. The solidity of the midfield, in which Patrick Andre, Gemero Montero and João Paulo are set to start, should give some boost to them. Pedro Babisto Loteia will lead the Cape Verde to AFCON 2023, his tournament following his appointment in January 2022. Bobris's attacking style of play, with his players lining up to 4-3-3, could be a worry for the big teams, and wouldn't expect the West African team to be a pushover. The 53-year-old ex-international has only managed club since Cape Verde. And that's how we wrap the news cycle. It came to you from the nation's capital, Abuja. We are on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. On behalf of all of us on Global TV, we're saying Merry Christmas, and I am Fauziya Lukman. Thank you so much for watching.